Hi guys, I'm Morgan, and this is my friend Eric. We're here from Comic Town to do a box opening of Hour of Devastation, Magic's newest set.
We also going to talk about our upcoming FNM events, our Comic Town Classic Series Modern event that's coming up on the 22nd. So as per normal with our FNMs for the first month after set release, we win a box for our draft events and standard. Draft starts at 7 p.m., standard starts at 7:30. We also have a modern event at 8 p.m. And Morgan, we have another big thing going on here in the next couple of days. Isn't that right?
Yeah, guys. So we know we've all been talking about this great move that's going to happen. Well, I have good news, guys. Monday will be our last day in the shop, and then our first day at the new place will be on Wednesday, the 19th, and it'll be twice as big as the Comic Town you all know and love. And we're really excited to have that happen. So, yeah, it'll be at 94 Dilmont. It's just off 23. It's just a little bit past the tunnel and the Marcus Crossroads Theater. So, without further ado, let's dig into our box.
First thing we'll show off is the Wildfire Eternal. It's the buy box promo for Hour of Devastation. Anybody that purchases these while we have them in stock will receive one of these. So,
cool.
Let's go. Let's hopefully get our invocation this time. I know this is box number 6 that we've done on camera, so we're due.
All right.
All right, Morgan, you have the honors.
Cool.
I've cracked enough packs this week already.
Is there anything you're hoping to open?
I'm hoping just for the sheer enjoyment of our fans out there that we actually open an invocation. So what we're going to do, just like normal, we're going to talk about the rare in the set in the pack. Then we might talk about an uncommon if we happen to open one of the more popular ones that people have been discussing already. So what's our first one?
All right, we got Hostile Desert.
All right, why don't you go ahead and read the card and tell people what it does?
Sure. Hostile Desert. Tap to add a colorless to your mana pool, or pay 2 and exile a land card from your graveyard. Hostile Desert becomes a 3/4 elemental creature until end of turn. It's still a land. I think this card might be fun in EDH. It might be fun in some of the land-based strategies. I doubt that it could see modern play, but you never know with creature lands. Creature lands are always good.
Yeah,
and this one can fit into any deck.
Yeah, creature lands are usually pretty good. This one in particular for standard, we'll see. For Commander, absolutely. We've got like Titania as a really land-heavy
I might try and
Commander
put it
deck
in mine.
that would probably love to have something like this. It looks like we have another one of the first uncommons that we would actually like to talk about for
This is a pretty cool uncommon from the set. It's called a Braid. I think that this is going to fit right into standard. I'm sad to see that we're getting some Aetherworks Marvel hate in the set, but it's still banned. I think that would be a really great card against it. But we're also going to see it as a great hedge against the vehicles decks that are going to be coming back, and maybe some monument decks. I know Griff is testing out a monument deck here.
And Gearhawks. It kills all the Gearhawks. And also, like, the 3 damage is not irrelevant. It kills just about 90% of all the creatures you wanted to kill in standard.
Yeah, it's great main deck hate. All right, Griff.
All right, let's move on to the next one. We're going to try to not talk at length, try to get through this as quickly as we can, just like previously. Our rare in this pack is Earthshaker Kenra. It's the first card that has the Eternalized mechanic, which if you guys are familiar with drafting Amonkhet or playing Sealed with Amonkhet, you know about the Embalm mechanic. This is just like that, but a little bit better. Instead of the creature coming back just as a token copy of itself, it comes back as a 4/4 copy of itself, which I've seen these played out over some of the pre-release week during the pre-release weekend. Some of them were really good, really strong.
Yeah.
Like, maybe what might open him, it's another rare. It's the Champion of Wills. People have talked about him a little bit. But when you flash him, basically flash him back again and draw 4 cards, discard 2 cards, it's pretty hard to lose after that.
Yeah. The way I like to evaluate these, I like to try and figure out if I'd actually cast the just top half, the regular version of it. And if that version looks okay, then the Eternalized mechanic is a little overcosted in my opinion, but it is card advantage, and I think we might see some pop up in standard.
All right, well, a couple more uncommons. We have another Braid in this pack, which seems pretty lucky right off the bat. And then we have another one of the first of the defeat cycle that we would like to talk about.
I'm really excited to hear the story coming up. Are they actually dead? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if we've learned anything from comic books over the years, nobody really stays dead for very long.
That's fair.
But this is the first of the defeat cycle. This one is Gideon's defeat. This one actually is going to be a real big player in standard. It's a white instant. Exile target white creature that's attacking or blocking. If it happens to be a Gideon, you gain 5 life. Gideon has been a pain for most of us to deal with over the past couple years.
Yes.
It's about time we saw a little bit of actual hate for him. And not to mention, like, there's that blue-white monument deck that popped up real quick. Avacyn has been a thorn in the side for players over the past couple years as well.
And this will miss her flip trigger, too, because it exiles.
Yes. Yep.
That's cool. That is
so
cool.
this card is, I think we'll see a lot of, if you're going down to Cincinnati this weekend for the SCG Open, like, I would be prepared to play against this a lot if you're playing some white-based aggro deck or playing a deck with Avacyn or Gideon in general.
Cool. Let's
dig in. Move on.
All right. We got Hour of Devastation. I think that this card is going to bring back blue-red control in a big way. It deals with a lot in the format and gets rid of the indestructible clause, which is pretty cool. Do you have anything else that you're thinking about it?
This card is fantastic.
Yeah.
If you want to play a control deck in Standard, here's your Wrath effect. You know that Fumigate card that doesn't deal with like that Gideon or those other Planeswalkers that kind of hit play? This card does that for you.
Yeah. And it also has great EDH
it's great EDH.
Yep. People are already slotting it in. It really cool.
Honestly might see a one-of, and like Jeskai Control is starting to become a little bit more popular again in Modern.
Yeah.
It could be Supreme Verdict number 5 for those decks. Especially, it's a way for them to deal with the Liliana the Veil, Liliana the Last Hope, opposing Gideon Juras.
Cool. I also got another cool uncommon. I think that we got Supreme Will. I think that card is going to be played in some standard control decks just because it is pretty versatile. People have been talking about Modern play, but I kind of doubt that.
I don't think Modern play, Standard play for sure. 3 mana for like basically a mana leak is fine, but when you staple on the ability to impulse, on top of that, it makes for a really good card. Like, we already have Anticipate that the control decks are playing. This just gives them a chance to take Anticipate out of those lists and play a card that can be either a counterspell or card selection later.
So it'll especially be good in the mirror matchup.
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and rip open another one.
All right, so our rare is Hour of Eternity. This is the first one of the hour cycle that we've seen in this set. This one is 3 blue for an XX for a sorcery. Exile X target creature cards from your graveyard. For each one exiled this way, you get a 4/4. I saw people play this during pre-release. It was not terrible. As far as Standard, Modern, any constructed play, I highly doubt it. Commander, maybe?
I think that this will see plenty of Commander play. I think that also might be fringe Modern playable. As history goes, with the more slower reanimation cards, 5 mana has been about the recent cap for that. So to reanimate your first target, it's going to be 5 mana. You're going to pay 3 blue and then 1 for each of the X's. But if you can get to more mana than that and scale it, I think it's going to be sweet. Cool.
Let's move on.
All right. Griff was talking about the Champion of Wits earlier. We got the Champion of Wits.
Yeah, as I said earlier, this guy is not terrible and limited. He is a 3 mana for a 2/1 creature. When he enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. When you eternalize, it becomes a 4/4 that you draw 4 cards and discard 2 cards. It's pretty good. Like it's just like casting like a Pull from Tomorrow or a Sphinx Revelation Limited. It's really hard to lose after you've drawn that many cards.
Yeah. I think what's also important to note is these Eternalized cards come back as zombies. I think we're going to see some blue-black zombie, maybe some more black-white zombie play. The Scarab God is pretty sweet with all those zombies coming. So I think
that is actually a good point. We forgot to mention that they come back as zombies.
We also got another cool uncommon in our pack. I think this one, this is Liliana's Defeat. I think that this one is going to be even better for Modern than it will Standard.
Absolutely.
Death Shadow is probably 30% of the meta right now, and this just kills...
maybe closer to 40%.
Yes. Kills several of the good things. It kills the namesake card, Death Shadow.
It kills Tasigur.
It also kills Tasigur.
Kills Zombie Fish.
Gurmag Angler, yeah. So
Kills Liliana the Veil.
Jund and Grixis are both going to be looking to put this in their sideboards, and also Death Shadow variants.
Even like the Abzan mid range has kind of taken the more of a spot of the Jund deck, since like Lightning Bolt is really not a fantastic Magic card in.
And it takes care of Liliana herself, which is great.
Takes care of Siege Rhinos, Grim Flares, all kinds of really troublesome things. All right, our rare in this one is Emit Eternal.
Awesome.
All right, so this guy is a 3-mana 4/5/5 with Afflict 3. Afflict is a mechanic that is introduced in this set. It is if the creature becomes blocked, your opponent loses life equal to whatever the Afflict is. In this case, it's Afflict 3. So if this guy is blocked, they lose 3 life.
Yeah.
Which, sure, could be a trade-off. I'd rather take 3 than take 5. But he also has another ability. It's whenever an opponent casts a spell, he gets a 1/1 counter, or a -1/-1 counter. But when he deals combat damage to a player, those all go away.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that we'll see some really interesting situations in Standard where people are going to be trying to cast instants to like lower his power, stuff like that at instant speed. But he does have the ever important type of zombie. So I think that maybe we'll see him in zombie lists as like a 2-of. He's pretty strong. I wouldn't count him out.
He is really strong. I don't know if he's going to take the spot of, say, Diregraph Colossus while Diregraph is still in Standard. But I can see him maybe slotting in as, say, you drop down 1 Colossus, maybe play one of him, or play an even split. Or even just, like, once Colossus goes away, this guy becomes the relevant 3-drop in that deck.
You also might see him if neg-1 counter strategy comes about.
That is very true.
All right. Crack open our next one here. All right.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
This guy.
We got Apocalypse Demon. It's a 6-drop black creature. It has flying, and it says that its power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your graveyard. At the beginning of your upkeep, tap it, or unless you sacrifice another creature. So it's the typical like big demon with a drawback.
This guy's bad.
It might see play in like a City C EDH deck or like
EDH 5.
Some type of dredge. Yeah, I doubt this card's gonna make Standard play.
I made a mistake of playing with this card in my sealed pool during the midnight pre-release. It was bad.
All right, let's move on to our next pack.
All right.
Nice.
We have our first Aftermath card that we're going to talk about. It's which one is it? Reason to Believe. This one actually was talked about a lot amongst all the websites through SCG, TCG Player as one of the best cards in the set. I think jury is still out on this. The 1 blue mana Scry 3 effect is very, very strong, very, very powerful. It lets a lot of different decks, especially in Modern, set up a little bit more. Let's Storm deck kind of sets up the top 3 cards of their deck. Let's Death Shadow do the same. Let's a variety of different decks. Like they want the card kind of like selection as opposed to straight card draw. The other half, I don't know. What do you think?
I think that it could possibly see some type of play. I know there's a couple big decks trying to cheat in some bigger creatures right now. I don't know if that half's going to be relevant, but there's always a chance, especially with the Scry being able to set it up. I could see Eternal Command possibly trying to play this. Possibly a control deck.
That's a deck that we haven't heard a lot of for a little while.
Yeah, it's a little fringe, but maybe this will help it.
It does take a certain pilot to play that deck, and he's pretty much a master of the game from what I can remember. We actually have another one of the defeat cycle. This is Chandra's Defeat. This is one of the other ones that we feel is going to be actually really, really popular and really, really, really strong. So what this one is, it's 1 red for instant. Deals 5 damage to target red creature or red planeswalker. If that permanent is a Chandra planeswalker, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. So one of the most popular creatures, one of the most powerful creatures in Standard currently is Glorybringer. This kills Glorybringer for 1 singular red mana, which is really strong.
Yeah, I definitely think that
We've had a few cards like this, kind of like Rending Volley type of cards, where they only dealt with like blue creatures, blue or white creatures. This is the first one that just says red creature deals 5 damage. Deal 5 damage to a red creature, that's really unheard of.
At instant speed, I think it makes it great if we see a red heavy meta.
And it's kind of been gearing back toward that, especially with the reemergence of Glorybringer being a powerhouse, where he's no Stormrush Dragon.
Yeah.
He's still a pretty good card.
Nice. We got Pride Sovereign. I think that this card is really fun. I think it adds a lot to the game's flavor. Also, if you guys believe the leaks that came out, there's a green-white commander that deals with cats and demons, right? Cat demon or something like that.
That was cat dragon.
Cat dragon. It's a cat dragon. This card's going to be awesome in there, and also if you mess around with like the untap mechanics in the set, I think that you could crank out a lot of dudes and make this guy pretty beefy. This is going to be great for casual, great for commander, and might see some fringe standard.
In limited, this card is disgustingly good.
Yeah.
I had it in my sealed pool on Sunday. The games that I actually played it and did multiple exerts with it, I did not come close to losing. Anything else fun in that pack?
Did not look like it. Nothing we haven't talked about.
All right. All right. We have another one of the split cards. This one is Leave to Chance. This one is the front half of it is white and a colorless for instant for return any number of target permanents you own to your hand, and the other one is discard any number of cards to draw that many cards for 4 mana at sorcery speed. So I think the front half of this card is actually insanely good.
Yeah.
There is that kind of like Cheerios deck that's running around in Standard with Aetherflux Reservoir. There is also the Pierce Steel Paladin deck that was running around in Modern for a little while. This kind of slots into rather nicely.
Yeah. Kind of a reload on a paradoxical outcome.
Yeah. It seems really strong. I don't know if it's going to actually see any type of play, but if I can imagine 2 decks in particular,
it's got to be a combo somewhere. I'm excited.
If somebody can find a combo with this, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Like people love playing combo decks.
Anything else?
Find
exciting?
me a combo deck. No.
All right.
No, unfortunately.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
Griff and I are both talking about this card today. This is Bronagh's Last Stand. I think that we're definitely going to see a green-white tokens build. Maybe some Anointed Processions. Definitely Gideon is going to be in there.
And this could also be that deck that slides the Pride Sovereign right into.
Yeah, I think that this
playing
is...
with like always watching Pride Sovereign exerting every turn would be kind of sweet.
Mm-hmm. I think that this is one of the ones with the drawback that's not quite as bad. I think this might even see some fringe modern play.
Yeah, there is a possibility. So this one of any of this particular cycle of the lands not untapping during your next turn, this one seems really, really sweet because it's just like 2 mana, turn 2, I'm going to make a 5/4. Good luck.
Yeah.
Especially in Standard. Like I know we are playing cards like there's Cut the Ribbons out there, there's Blessed Alliance and stuff like that, but still a 5/4 on 2 is really hard to deal with.
And let's say you get to turn 5. You play this guy with the Anointed Procession out, you get 2 5/4s, you still have plenty of mana to deal with this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else fun in that pack?
I didn't think so.
Yeah, not really. All right.
Okay.
Our next one is Angel of Condemnation. I saw this put in a little bit of work over the weekend during pre-releases.
Yeah.
Limited-wise, really strong card.
Yes.
As a Standard goes, probably not so much. I mean, the benefit it is a 4 mana, 3/4 vigilant creature. Or sorry, 3/3 vigilant creatures. With some really relevant abilities. Let's go ahead and read those off to them.
Yeah, sure. It is a 4 mana 3/3 with flying and vigilance. You can pay 2 colorless and a white to tap it. Exile another target creature. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So this one I see as a great Eternalize killer, because when tokens leave the battlefield, they don't come back, which is pretty cool. Or you can exert it, and you exile another creature until this leaves the battlefield. So it's kind of like a Restoration Angel mixed with a Fiend Hunter, but you have to pay mana for both. I think this card's going to be great in Commander. I think that until Eldrazi Displacer leaves Standard, this won't see play. But when it does, there's a possibility.
Very strong possibility.
Yeah. All right. Keep on trucking. All right. We got Hollow One. I think this card is really interesting.
I actually did want to talk about this one a little bit.
Sure.
So we had that That's cycling New Perspectives decks that's running around Standard for a little while.
Yeah.
I think this card gives them like a legitimate kill condition.
Because
like you cycle, you cycle 3 cards. You play it for free. Like,
yeah.
Who doesn't like? Was it 4/4 for free?
Yep. 4/4
for free. That seems pretty good. Remember the last one that we had was 4-man for basically, or 4/4 for basically free. Mirror Enforcer.
Yeah.
But that kind of had affinity. It's kind of like that. Card's pretty good.
People are already talking about how to put this in their vintage decks with Mishra's Workshop and ways to discard.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be sweet. It's going to be really powerful. And there's also like Collective Brutality, which lets you discard 3 cards for 2 mana. And you get to discard something from their hand. They lose 2 life. And you get to kill a dude.
Yep.
And play this dude on turn 2.
I think this card could be end up being one of the sleepers of this set.
I do too.
I just realized that as I was sitting there sleeping and pricing everything this afternoon. It's like, wow, this card's actually really good.
Yeah.
All right, so our next one is, oh, buddy.
Uh-oh.
We got a good one then.
Yeah,
we got a good one to talk about. If you guys have been around the shop at all over the past couple weeks, you've seen me messing around with this guy in Standard. It's the RoomNap Excavator. It's green, 2 colorless for a 2/3. Allows you to play land cards from your graveyard.
Yes.
So it's basically Crucible of Worlds
that is searchable by Green Sun Zenith.
And by Summoner's Pact.
And Collected Company.
As
you can tell, we're really excited about this card. Griff's made a standard deck based on it.
I did. I don't want to divulge all the information, but if you've seen me around here playing it all this over the past few weeks, you've seen me playing this deck. It can do some really, really stupid things. Yes. I don't want to give out what I'm doing with it.
Sorry.
Because I am playing an SCG Sensi, and I might play that deck.
Okay.
So, I don't want to divulge much information. It might involve the Drug Monster.
I'm going to try it out in Legacy Maverick. You can search for it with Green Sun Zenith, which is really sweet. And let's say you wastelanded somebody. People said this card's main drawback is it doesn't do anything when it enters. But if you wastelanded somebody earlier in the game and he comes down, you can have priority and immediately wasteland something else. So I think that this card is going to be great, especially with Knight of the Reliquary in the deck. Being able to search up any land you'd like.
I heard there's a certain commander that might want this also. Oh, I mean pretty much every green commander ever.
I play Titania, so I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, her. Yeah, she's pretty good.
Titania. All right.
She's pretty good. Let's go on to the next one.
All right.
Oh, we got another fun one to talk about, guys.
Nimble Obstructionist. Griff, you're talking about it being in control decks, maybe?
Possibly in control decks. I think this card could see some play in Modern.
Okay. It does cancel a fetch land pretty good.
It also does one certain thing in particular. There's a certain deck that runs around that likes to play some certain types of lands. It might involve Tron.
Gotcha.
This shuts off them being able to search with their Sanctum of Ugins.
It kills Oblivion Stone.
It stops Oblivion Stone. It stops Expedition Map, Chromatic Sphere, Karn activations.
Yeah, this could swing back and kill Karn the next turn. That's pretty cool.
It also stops Ulamog cast triggers.
Yes.
You know, decks don't like getting their lands exiled.
All right. So if there's any cards you're really excited about, we want to hear from you guys. Go ahead and in the comments, just let us know what you're really excited about. And maybe we can talk about the new cards together.
All right. We got another interesting one. We have Hour of Glory. This is another one of the Hour cycle. Like we already saw Hour of Eternity already. So this one is a black and 3 colors for an instant speed. Exile target creature. If that creature was a god, look at your opponent's hand. You get to extract any other copies in their hand from the game. This is something that black doesn't get a lot of. We get a 4-mana instant speed way to exile a permanent.
This is going to be real good in limited too, because it gets rid of the possibility of them eternalizing or just bringing back from the graveyard.
So there's also that, and like one of the big players early on in Last Standard was Ronus and Hazaret and some of the gods who happen to be indestructible. Like the Jund deck that we had already kind of mentioned with Renault Excavator, was having a real trouble dealing with gods in particular. But this card gives us an out to be able to like get rid of that Ronus.
It being instant speed is great too.
Yes, really great. And then nothing else in this pack.
Cool.
Let's get on to the next one.
Looks like we're about halfway there, guys.
Halfway home to not opening another Invocation, Masterpiece, or Expedition.
All right, guys. We got Hazaret's Undying Fury. This card is a 6-mana sorcery. It says you shuffle your library, then exile the top 4 cards. You may cast any number of non-land cards with a converted mana cost 5 or less from among them without paying their mana cost. And then it has the lands you control don't untap during the next turn clause.
I don't think this card's very good.
I don't either. I think that we'll see. It'll see some commander play with the chaos type commander players. This card seems like a lot of fun. It can also cast cards without converted mana costs, like Wheel of Fate, Living End, stuff like that.
Restore balance.
Yeah, restore balance. But I still don't think that it's going to see much play. All right.
All right. Our next one is Dreamstealer. He is a black 2 colorless for a 1/2 with Menace. And when he, let's see, what does he do? When he deals combat damage to a player, that player discards that many cards. So the first time he hits, it's just they discard 1 card. When you eternalize him, it becomes a 4/4.
Yeah.
With Menace, like 4/4 with Menace, then the potential of them discarding 4 cards is really huge. I don't know how good the card actually is in Limited, though.
I'm not too excited about this card. I think Menace is great in Limited, especially if you can get some of the cartouches onto him.
Oh, yeah.
Like the flying one, the blue one that gives him flying. Like, they'll never be able to block him with Menace. I think that's pretty good. It keeps him off cards. But overall, I'm not too excited about this card. By the time you Eternalize, they're already going to have very few cards in their hand. This won't see constructive
Especially
play.
with his Eternalize cost is 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at that point, I have 1, maybe 2 cards in hand, and it's kind of...
Yeah. All right. We opened a Scavenger Grounds. I think this card's fine. I think it's much needed graveyard hate. I think that it could possibly see some EDH play. It's pretty good. You can exile itself. It can exile itself to pay for the cost or any other extra deserts you have. It's fine hate in Standard.
Yeah, I mean, Scrumptious Scroungers have been running around for a little while and constantly crewing Hardicanes for a bit now. Like, this gives different decks ways to exile him that aren't playing like Magma Sprays or Incendiary Flows.
Yeah, it's pretty good in Limited. As like maybe a 3rd or 4th pick.
Yeah, if you have an opponent who's playing a bunch of Embalm or Eternalized cards, like.
All right.
All right. So our next one is That Hydra. It's a green 3 colorless for a 3/3 that has Vigilance, Reach, and Trample. He gets +1/+1 if you control a desert, and then he also gets +1/+1 as long as there's a desert in your graveyard.
Yeah.
This card's sweet. Pretty good in Limited. Standard-wise, doubtful.
Okay.
Nothing else fun in here, so...
Cool. Let's continue on. Still getting closer and closer to no Invocation. All right. We got...
I was hoping you being here would change our luck on that one more.
I know, man. I'm trying. I'm pretty lucky, too.
I know. That's why I said hopefully she changes that.
We got Unesh, Cryo-Sphinx Sovereign. He's got flying, and he makes Sphinx spells. Costs 2 less to cast. Whenever he or another Sphinx enters the battlefield, you reveal the top 4 cards to your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put one into your hand and the other into your graveyard.
So when he enters the battlefield, you get to basically Factor Fiction.
Yeah.
Last time we had a Factor Fiction Sphinx Unlimited was really good. That one costs 7 mana. This one costs 6, and makes your other Sphinxes cost a lot less.
I don't think that the spell reduction in Standard will be anything.
No.
But
Limited, this card's gross.
People have been asking for a new Sphinx Legend for Commander for quite a while.
Yes.
So
and this is a pseudo Sphinx Lord for
Wizards
that
throwing him a
type.
bone here.
Yeah, just a little bit.
This is cool. I'm glad this was in the set. All right, cool.
All right. We got our first god that we're going to talk about here, guys. We have the Locust God. So this is a red, blue, 4 colorless for a 4/4 flyer. We actually have his little token here.
Yep.
And whenever you draw a card, you make a 1/1 flying insect creature token that has haste.
Yes.
And he also has the ability of red, blue, 2 colorless, draw a card, discard a card.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as with all these gods in the set, he has the added on thing of if you would go to the graveyard, he is returned to your hand instead.
Yeah.
Which is really good, especially since these are legendary creatures for Commander.
Yes.
These guys never cost more than their actual mana cost.
That's a good point. You don't have to repay the commander tax.
It's just like, oh, I will let it go to the graveyard if I trigger it comes to my hand.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer have to put this guy exiled into my command zone.
That is pretty cool. I'd compare him to Niv Mizzet. I think that they're complete different style decks. Niv Mizzet is a straight-up combo deck with many 2-card combos that involve Niv Mizzet. This card, I think, is a little more on the fun side. Personally, I'd enjoy playing this deck a lot more. You might put things like Impact Tremors in the deck, Mind Over Matter and Azami to draw your deck and kill everybody with a swarm of insects. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, yeah. And you should have seen the menacing grin our producer over here was giving when we mentioned how these guys work for Commander. It was great, guys. It was great. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. I didn't see anything else saucy in this pack to really talk about, so...
Cool. Yeah, I think we've talked about most of the
good uncommons, which is good. We actually got them out of the way really quick.
Ooh!
Ooh, hot fire.
All right. We got a foil Excavator. That is sweet. I'm just super excited about that. And EDH players rejoice. Yeah. I am right now. And for our other rare in the pack, we got Hour of Revelation.
All right. This one actually has had a lot of buzz about it. So this one is 3 white, 3 colorless. It costs 3 less mana to cast if there are 10 or more non-land permanents on the battlefield. Which, limited is really easy to trigger that between both players. Even in standard right now, it's really easy to trigger that between each player. And it destroys all non-land permanents.
So it's a planar cleansing with upside.
With upside.
Cool.
The only downside to it is it's cost 3 white mana. But in the deck that you're going to likely play this in, i.e. most likely blue-white control, that mana cost is irrelevant.
Yeah. And planar cleansing was triple white also. So this is just a strict upgrade.
This gives those blue-white control decks answers to planeswalkers that are already on the board that got in under counter magic. So control players rejoice. Wizards has thrown us a lot of bones in this past set, like between Hour and Devastation, this card, a few new cool counter spells over the past few sets.
Yeah, that'll be a good answer to the tokens deck too.
Like Disallow, the uncommon one that we talked about today. Censor.
Ooh. Okay, this card has a lot of buzz around it. It's called Solemnity. It says that players can't get counters. So, in fact, goodbye. Also, counters can't be put on artifacts, creatures, enchantments, or lands.
So, you know that green-black Constrictor deck that was running around Standard? Bye-bye. Energy, bye-bye.
Oh, yeah, because energy gets put on players, right, as counters. Correct. Huh, that's interesting. I know that people are already wanting to combo this with Dark Depths and Legacy.
Doesn't hit Planeswalkers. Does not hit Planeswalkers, however.
Does not hit Planeswalkers. Okay. But I can imagine...
If it did, this card would be $30.
Yeah. There's the Mirror card, which we have yet to open. But that can also make a copy with Dark Depths. So I would see this and the Mirror in a deck with Dark Depths. And just being able to get a 2020 indestructible flying bad guy in Legacy.
I'm thinking, like, so there's a Teamer Energy deck that's running around in Standard that has been pretty popular toward the end of Amonkhet Standard, and didn't lose anything and hasn't really gained anything, so it's going to stay basically status quo. This card slots into any, like, the blue-white Monument decks, blue-white control decks, as a way to shut off their energy.
That's interesting.
Like, it makes it so you can actually kill Bristling Hydra.
That's great.
That card is a pain to deal with.
Yes. All right, man.
All right. Oh, this is your pack. That was mine.
Is it? All right, cool. All right, let's go Invocation right here. One-time dealer.
Yeah, one time. Big money, no whammies, and
it was a whammy.
You failed me.
Okay. This guy is Jeru with eyes open. He's gonna be cool in some commander stuff. There's lots of.
So I heard you guys like searching up planeswalkers.
Yeah.
Especially in a certain commander deck. Might have been one of the 4-color ones that was just out a few months ago.
Attract something.
I think it's
Atraxa.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
This card is sweet in commander, guys. In limited, I mean, it is still a 5-mana 4/3 vigilant guy, so he's still not terrible. He has something else over here. Oh, okay.
He prevents one of the damage dealt to planeswalkers. So not only does he find them, he protects them.
So if you happen to open a planeswalker in limited and you can go find it with this guy, that's a win-win. I mean,
and we actually did we already talk about this?
No,
we opened up Claim to Fame. It's
one of the other uncommons that we wanted to
It's one of the coolest split cards in this set. I'm really afraid of what it's going to do to Modern because it gives Death Shadow just another really easy way to bring back their guy. And the bottom half just isn't that bad either. I know a lot of the bottom halves.
So the first half, the claim part is black for sorcery. Return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less. Tarmogoyf. Death Shadow. Yes. Snapcaster Mage.
Cool, man. That all is gross.
The Fame part of it is a red and a colorless for a sorcery. Target creature gains +2/+0 and haste. So you can play this Death Shadow after getting it back from the graveyard, give that bad boy haste, and +2/+0, and get in there. Probably for the kill, most likely.
Yeah, like if you play that into a tapped out board state, that's probably the game right there.
Especially if your Death Shadow is anywhere close to like 8/8, 10/10.
Yeah. All right, Invocation.
Oh, I saw shiny.
Okay, we have a foil in the pack. It's not an Invocation. Okay, no, that's cool.
I mean, it is it's not only a foil basic island. It wasn't a full art foil, unfortunately. Had my hopes up.
All right, what's
I failed you guys. Oh, boy.
I got this as my pre-release promo.
It's Swarm Intelligence. I don't really want to talk about this card.
Okay, fine. It is a 7-drop enchantment. It says when you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may copy that spell. You may choose new targets for that copy. This will be fun in Commander. It'll be like a blue-red spell-slinging, like Mizzix deck, or something like that. It'll see play there.
Yeah, I really didn't want to talk about that card. Not that intriguing.
Yeah.
There are multiple effects that already do the same thing.
All right.
Oh, all right. Well, okay. Well, we didn't really talk about this guy. This is Wildfire Eternal. This is the buy box promo. This guy is another one of the guys with Afflict. He is a red 3 colorless zombie jackal cleric. That is a 1/4. He has Afflict 4. What is his other ability? Whenever he attacks and isn't blocked, you may cast an instant or sorcery card from your hand without paying his mana cost. So that part of it is pretty good. I would like to see this guy maybe cost a little bit less. Maybe cost 2, still make him a 1/4, but not have Afflict and have that ability stapled onto him would be pretty cool.
Okay.
But by the time, like, 4 mana for a 1/4, odds are he's not getting in.
Yeah,
I agree. He's just going to stonewall something, and that's really about it. If you do happen to be able to attack him with him, he's likely going to be able to trigger his effect because they're just not going to block him. They just don't want to lose 4 life. But it's just not what I want to be doing on turn 4 in a red deck in any format.
Yeah. Something else that's cool, that's worth mentioning for you older Magic players that have maybe played the game for a while, there is a reprint of Strategic Planning.
Yeah, this card hasn't been seen in a little while, right?
It's only been printed a total of 3 times now. The first time was in Portal 3 Kingdoms. And then Commander 2013, I think, in the Grixis deck. This is sweet. I love the art, and I'm really excited because this is now Modern Legal. I think it'll be good in some of the, like, dump your stuff into your yard Delver type lists. Yeah, it's cool. I'm just excited that it got reprinted.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those old cards that has not been printed in a very long time, or outside of a Commander product to be put into the Modern format, which is really cool.
Oh, I love this card.
All right, so we got Torment of Hellfire. This card I've seen do some really, really, really stupid things over the weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is just indicative of this sealed format in general, or if it's just because it was pre-release weekend and people were just wanting to try all the fun cards.
All right, let's go ahead and read it off.
All right, so 2 black and X. Repeat the following process X times, which X is whatever you put into it.
An important clarification. This doesn't mean X plus 1. It just means whatever your X value is.
Each opponent, pay attention, Commander players. Each opponent loses 3 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. So, I saw several teams have this during our 2-headed giant pre-release.
Oh,
the key
man.
part is each opponent.
Oh, man.
This card was disgusting. Even in single-player sealed events, it was gross.
I got it in mine, and I wiped the board with it every time.
Yeah, it just turned into a board wipe.
And then I just killed him the next turn. It was great.
It's great. Constructed-wise?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Not
likely. Maybe. Somebody prove me wrong on this. Please, for the love of God, prove me wrong on this card.
Also, this is going to go right into Rakdos, Lord of Riots decks.
Oh, God, yes.
You play it for 1, and if you're playing a multiplayer game, that's 9 points of damage and 9 cost reduction on your creatures. So any higher than that, it's insane. So we'll be seeing that in Commander.
Oh, yeah. Be ready to lose to it a lot, guys.
All right. We got Refuse to Cooperate. You got that card, didn't you, Griff?
I did. I got it as my pre-release promo on midnight. I didn't play it. I promptly lost to this card in round 2. Sorry, round 3. My opponent cast the first half of this, which is Refuse. Red 3 colorless, instant. Refuse deals damage to target spells converted mana cost.
Words.
Wow, they worded this poorly. Essentially, whatever the spell's converted mana cost, it deals that much damage to the caster.
So they take 10 off an Ulamog.
I only took 3. But what happened to me the following turn was this. Cooperate. Blue, 2 colorless for an instant. Copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy.
What did they copy?
You want to take a wild guess what card they copied?
The black card.
No, it's one we haven't seen yet.
Oh, okay.
It's a certain 2 blue, 2 colorless sorcery that allows you to
take their stuff.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Kefnet's Last Stand. Yep. I promptly got Emmet, Eternal, and Apocalypse Demon stolen from me. I quickly scooped. Because I did not draw anything relevant the following turn.
Down to our last few packs. Uh-oh. Oh.
We're just finding most of the bad cards right now, guys. So this is Overwhelming Splendor. So this is 2 white, 6 colorless for enchantment aura. It's a curse. If you guys were around during Innistrad, remember the curse cycle. Some of them were interesting. Some of them were really cool. Some of them were really, really good in those limited formats. This one, however, is not.
It just cost $1 million.
It cost $1 million mana. So it's enchant player, creatures enchanted player control, lose all abilities, and have base power and toughness of 1/1. Enchanted player, so it's humility, which
was good back then.
Humility is usually a pretty good card. Turn all your opponent's creatures into 1/1s. One-sided, pretty good.
Yeah.
But this also has another ability strapped onto it, which is the reason why it costs 8 mana. Enchanted player can't activate abilities that aren't mana abilities or loyalty abilities.
Okay, so this hoses their planeswalkers. It really fits in with
loyalty abilities. Planeswalkers are loyalty abilities.
Loyalty abilities. It doesn't hose planeswalkers.
It doesn't host planeswalkers, but it does shut off activation fetches, different artifacts that give you different effects.
Creature effects. Not mana elves. But...
Not mana elves or mana rocks, but it does shut off other important things.
Alright, so this card's not too exciting.
I'm not excited about this card. Somebody will try it in some super dirtily blue-white control deck in Standard. I will probably lose to it at some point and hate my life, but, you know, these are things that people try.
Alright, guys, we got Fraying Sanity. At the beginning,
I don't even know what this card does.
It is a blue and 2 generic. It's another curse. You enchant the player. At the beginning of each end step, enchanted player puts the top X cards of his or her library into their graveyard, where X is the number of cards put into that graveyard from anywhere this turn. So, turn 3, you enchant him with this. Maybe you hit him with a Traumatize later. They lose the game that turn. Pretty cool.
So we're living in Magical Christmas Land. So
yeah, Magical Christmas Land. A lot of mill players are going to love this card. I like this card. I think it's fun.
This, again, Magic has done a WotC in general has done a really good job over the past few years trying to cater their sets to every type of player. Whether you're constructed, your tabletop, your commander, they've done a lot of good service of trying to throw bones to each style of play.
I think mill could be a viable strategy in limited if you
In limited,
if
sure.
you open that card maybe first pick.
Sure.
All right.
Well, we're down to our last 5 packs here, guys. So, yeah, let's see if we get that invocation.
All right.
If not, you've disappointed me severely, Morgan.
Hey, man. We did get a foil Marauding Bone Slasher. All right.
Far cry from the Massachusetts.
Here's the Mirage Mirror. We were talking about that earlier today. It's going to be really cool in Vintage. You can play it for 1 land, Tolarian Academy. Just have that, play that. That's super sweet. It's going to copy their Metalworkers. It's going to copy your lands. It's going to copy Dark Depths. It's going to do all the broken things in Vintage, Legacy, and Commander.
Did a lot of fun things over the weekend.
Yeah, I heard that it was great in pre-release. I think that it's definitely constructed playable. We'll see about Standard.
Yeah, I don't know. To be determined.
All right, let's have at it. I'm happy we opened that card. It's a good card.
Yeah, all right. I mean,
okay,
not awful.
So the
foil and this is defeat. We haven't actually talked about this one yet.
Sure.
So this one is green 2 colorless for sorcery. Destroy target forest, green enchantment, or green planeswalker. If that permanent was a Nissa, planeswalker, draw a card. So, land destruction. This is the first time we've actually seen
green land destruction
in a long time.
Yeah.
In a very, very long time. It's been, what, since Mojave Acid Moss back in Time Spiral days?
There was the 5-drop.
That wasn't multicolored?
There was the 5-drop from M13, Acidic Slime, but
that was a creature.
Other than
actually,
that,
expel that actually just kills a land. So having 3 mana LD is actually really good.
And it is only a forest though, so.
But there are a lot of forests running around in Standard right now. You have all the battle lands.
Yeah.
All the cycle lands are
Nissa herself too.
There's a lot of Nissas running around. It's about force has been on the
white-green token deck we were talking about.
Yeah. Nissa Avenger or Avenger of Zendikar, is that what it is?
Voice of
Zendikar. Yeah, thank you. It's been a while since I've seen that card in play, or actually pulled one out of the case. So, all right, let's see what our actual rare is here. It's Resilient Kenra. This one is actually kind of cool. So this is a green colorless for a 2/2.
Okay.
So it's a bear.
You can play the top half easy. Yeah.
It's a bear. Bears are always usually pretty good and limited. It has another effect on it, though, however.
What's its other effect, Griff?
It is, when it enters the battlefield, you may have target creature get +X until in a turn where X is its power.
Okay, so Wild Beastmaster.
Yeah, so we've had some of these cards in Standard before that have been like Briarhorn and different things like that. Most of them have had Flash, so you can use them as a combat trick, which was always... I can't tell you how many times people have been blown out with certain cards like that. I mean, I've been blown out by them. I've blown out people with them. Those cards are great.
Cool.
This guy being able to only be played at sorcery speed is still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to figure out like which creature you want to, like, say I have this big old trampler. Yeah, I'm obviously going to
give him 4/4 or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
When he eternalizes.
Yeah, when he eternalizes, he does the same thing.
Cool. What's his eternalize cost?
6.
All right, that's a bit big.
So 6 mana for a 4/4 is really not awful, but with the added ability is pretty good.
This is like a 3rd or 4th pick card probably in draft. You don't first pick it probably. But it's fine to play as a 2/2 for 2. It's just a slot curve filler.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a bear.
But then you can bring it back later.
Yeah,
it's all right.
We'll see it limited.
Yeah, we'll see it limited.
So we actually have one uncommon in here that we haven't talked about that I would really kind of like to.
Oh, okay. Cool. That card's cool.
It's an interesting card, and it's something we don't see out of black cards a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Doomfall. It's black, 2 colorless for sorcery. It's another one of the modal spells.
Mm-hmm.
It is, the first part of it is target opponent exiles a creature he or she controls. We never see black have like this pseudo Punisher mechanic where they give the opponent the choice of what to exile creature-wise. It's always targeted removal.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen like Devour Flesh, different stuff in like Diabolic Edict, Chainator's Edict, but those have been few and far between. And the other part of it is it just a duress? It is just a duress.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, it's more like a transgress to mine because it exiles the card, not discards.
Yep, you just choose a non-land card, so you can pick creatures, planeswalkers, any of that. I played this card in Limited. I played turn 2 Lay Bare the Heart into turn 3 Doomfall, and I won every time I did that. It's pretty good. We'll see this card in Limited, definitely.
Actually, there's been a few guys around here who have been doing some testing with our Devastation. I've been trying it out in Standard and like Marty vehicles and stuff like that. It hasn't been terrible when they've played it. So, I mean, it gives me a little hope that this could be another one of those, like how every set kind of has like those few uncommons that are really, really powerful.
Yeah.
And this could end up being one of those.
Interesting. I think it may be a little underpowered for the mana cost.
But it gives you two good options, like being able to exile a card, like say snipe a Gideon before they get to it. And...
All right, guys, we got Adorned Pouncer. It's a cat. I like cats. It's cool. I'm glad they brought back cats.
Right. This guy is actually really sweet. So he is white, colorless, 1/1 double striker. Reasonable cost for just a straight up 1/1 double striker. He has Eternal Eyes, so it becomes a 4/4 double striker for 5 mana.
Anybody remember the Dragon Style twins from the Tarkir block?
This guy's had prowess though, so I think he get a lot bigger, a lot quicker.
But
5 mana for a 4/4 double strike, that's nothing to sneeze at.
There are a lot of relevant 1 toughness cards in this Limited set too. So I think we'll definitely see this in Limited. It's pretty pickable, especially if you're already in white. Maybe you have some token stuff going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that the back half is a little expensive, but I think it's fine because it's a curve filler that also does something later.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. All right, we're down to 2 packs, guys. Do we have one or not?
Hey, keep hope alive. Let's do this.
All right, let's go. Let's see what you got.
Okay. No Invocation, but we got Bantu's Last Stand. I really like this card. I think it's fine, and I think people are talking about it in Modern already. People are talking about it in like an 8-rack type build. People are talking about it in something like Abzan. It's pretty good on turn 4, where you play this, then you have
Fatal Push.
Yeah, you have like a Godless Shrine open for like a Path to Exile or Fatal Push.
That's pretty good.
I think it's pretty good, and it's definitely going to have some share over Damnation. So we'll see. I'm excited about this card.
Standard wise, what do you think?
I think might definitely see some play, especially like against the zombie decks, and they can't really rebuild that quick.
Just an early wrath effect.
Yeah,
that's not a pyroclasm type of effect. It's just a hard kill everything.
Yes. All right, Griff.
All right.
Do you think we have an Invocation?
Dude, I don't. At this point, I'm resigned to the fact that we're not going to open one on camera ever.
Single man tier.
All right. Here we go.
All right.
Do we want to give the slow roll?
Yeah.
All right. We'll give the slow roll on this one, guys. Kind of churn through these packs relatively quickly, so no harm in doing a little bit of a slow roll.
Just speed this part up post-production.
All right. So we're on to the uncommons.
Okay. Oh. Nope.
You failed me, Morgan. I should have let you pick the box.
That just means when I buy my box, it's going to be really good and have an Invocation.
Probably. So the last rare we're going to talk about, one that we've already talked about, is Amid Eternal. Again, this guy was pretty good limited all weekend. Could see some standard play, possibly. Might even see some modern play, because he is a big old body for not a whole lot of mana.
So on a scale of like A to F, what would you give our box today?
Kind of somewhere in the middle.
I think I'd give it about like a C+. We did open a lot of bulk cards.
That's kind of how this set kind of lines up anyway.
The hour cycle, stuff like that. I think that there are a lot of sleepers in this set. I think Ronos' Last Stand is going to be one of those. We've both talked about that. We did get a foil Runamap Excavator, which is probably the most sought after card in this set right now.
Outside of Nicobolus.
Well, in foil, I mean.
Yeah.
So,
So, like, what we've noticed, like, even with this set, even talking about this before we even started opening boxes for singles and stuff like that, there just didn't seem like a whole lot of value in this set in particular. I think most of the marketing guys were putting it at, like, under $1 on average per pack. But after, like, pricing out everything, I'm seeing, like, everything kind of has that potential because we really don't know what week 1 of this new standard format's going to look like.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of it's going to be still status quo. You're going to see a lot of your Mario vehicles, different stuff like that. It's going to be really, really intrigued to see what new toys the pros bring to us at Pro Tour Hour of Devastation.
Yes.
In a few weeks. Like, I'm going to be tuned into that as much as I can.
Absolutely.
If you're at the shop and I'm here, I will likely have it on the flat screen at various points
We'll be
during
able
the
to watch
afternoon.
it.
Just because, like, you know, if it's something on, it's in the early morning or in the afternoon, like we can have time before F&M or anything like that on Friday or Thursday. I forget where it's in Kyoto, Japan, so it'll be
in the morning.
So we'll be watching the replay, so we'll kind of already have the information, but we'll be able to actually watch it in our time and you know, not be all blurry eyed and sleep deprived.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about the new Eternal decks that could come out from this. I think that there's a possibility that Maverick got a boost, and I really like just kind of fair early strategies.
That deck's like kind of been your baby of late.
Yeah,
like, you've always championed that deck in Legacy, so.
And I think that the Dark Depths strategy with the Mirror and the Solemnity could be a cool Legacy deck. And I think that Vintage got a very big power boost with Hollow One, and I think we'll be seeing him.
So we just want to go back over a couple quick things.
Yeah.
Reminder that we do have our FNMs as per usual. Draft 7 p.m., Standard 7:30, Modern at 8. Coming up on July 20th.
Come win a box.
They are win a box for both Draft and Standard. Thank you for the reminder. I almost completely forgot that. Shame on me. I should know better.
That's the good part, too. You win a box.
I should know better. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, right. Our Coming Town Classic Series Modern event, that's going to be on July the 22nd. That is Saturday. That will be the first event in our new location where you can actually win this wonderful playmat for making top 16. That is a $2,000 prize payout, folks. Like, if you love playing Modern, which I know a lot of you do, I see a lot of you in here every week playing Modern to the tune of like 30 or so on Monday and about the same again on Fridays. You guys love Modern. In fact, some of our Modern IQs of late have been rather large, 85 and 70-some players. So I want to see at least 100 players come out for that Coming Town Classic Series event. It'd be a great way to christen in a new shop.
Yeah.
You guys will all get to check out. Air conditioning is phenomenal.
And the shop size is going to be more than twice as big.
Yeah, 7,000 square feet. I mean, it's a win-win for
bathrooms. That's a win.
It's a win-win for everybody. Like, I know all of us here at the shop are really, really looking forward to it. A lot of us have been really stressed out because it's been a lot of extra effort on our part.
But it's cool. We're all excited.
We will be glad when we are finally in, set up, ready to go. We can get back to giving all of our great customer service that people know us for.
Yep. And the new location, again, will be 94 Domont. And it'll be just off 23, just slightly past the movie theater.
Yep. And we will be back again, likely for another box opening with both me and Morgan for Ixalan in October.
Oh, I'm excited for Ixalan.
Pirates and Dinosaurs, guys. Pirates and Dinosaurs. T-Rex's crude Harticurans.
Jack Sparrow killing Godzilla.
Oh! Good one. Good one.